National Transition Council of Libya. Dr. Jabril, we really recognize with great gratitude that you took the time to join us here and to share with us your ideas, your thinking about the historical events which happened in your country. And as I mentioned yesterday in my opening speech, we all should celebrate the rebirth of Libya. Now, you have explained in the plenary session and in some other occasions during the meeting already some of your thoughts about the future of Libya. I would like to have here maybe a more fundamental analysis. And my first question to you, Dr. Jabril, would be, when you look what's happened in Libya, is it an isolated case, or how do you see it, the intellectual, if I may say so, background? It's a historical event, as I just said, but is it a historical event focusing on Libya, or is it a historical event for the world?
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm glad to be here, and thank you for the invitation. I think what took place in Libya cannot be isolated from what came to be known as the Arab Spring. It's a new wave, and my belief is that this is part of a new paradigm taking place because of the globalized trends which came into action in the late 80s, you know. Now we started to see some results in the financial realm, as was the physical and financial crisis, 2008. Now at the cultural and social thing, new values started to develop, you know. I always tell my colleagues that if you take a sample of 10,000 young people, you know, 15 till 30 years old, for instance, you will be surprised that they listen to the same music, they get addressed the same way, and they support the same soccer players, and they listen. This is a new globalized age, whether they are coming from Africa, from Asia, from North America, from Europe, whatever, it doesn't matter. So there is a new value system because those young kids were exposed to a different socialization process from the one we got exposed to, you know. Therefore, their dreams, their values, their behavior is completely different from ours. This is very important because if we want to address the concerns and the dreams and the values of those young kids, we should take this into consideration. Our old thinking is not suitable at all to address their concerns, you know. As long as we ignore this fact, I expect that instability is going to continue. Turmoil is going to continue, and those young kids will keep coming to the streets. Our mission, I believe, to be mentors to those kids. We sit back, we help them develop their own programs, translate their own values, their own dreams into concrete programs. We help them to produce their own leadership and take things in their hand. As a matter of fact, I invited some of the Egyptian young people. I talked to Mr. Assam Sharaf, the Prime Minister. I took the Prime Minister of Tunisia to the same effect. And we are trying now to gather and convene the three states, the young kids from 3 states in one conference, trying to develop a common language between them.
This means in the old times, let's say, there was a two-class society and it was very much based on an ideological struggle. But today you have a conflict, if I may say so, between those post-Facebook and before Facebook. Now, you say those people are very impatient. How in a country like Libya, which has, if I'm not mistaken, about 70% of the population below the age of 30, how can you manage? I mean, what do you have to do in order to get those people on your side and to construct together your future?
Well, I think the first step is involvement. We have to involve those people, you know. We don't act on their behalf. We don't perceive ourselves as we have a mandate over those people, that we know more than them, you know. As a matter of fact, we will be surprised that in some cases, in most cases, they know much more than we do, you know, because they are exposed day and night to the internet, they are exposed day and night to the satellite TV, while we expose ourselves less. If we take a sample of our age, you know, 50s and 60s, you will discover that no more than 60% of us use computers, you know. But when you come to those young kids, you know, it's not unlikely at all that more than 90% use computers. You find a student knows more than his teacher. And this is empirically approved, you know, through different studies, you know, because they are day and night chatting all over the world. What I'm trying to say that this is a new political party, because it's convened all over time, you know, 24 hours per day, because time difference between the continents, you know. They chat with the United States, with China, with Africa, all over the place, you know. It's not a party in the traditional sense where they have address, they have a building, the police cannot quote it, by the way, in those dictatorships. So this is a new phenomenon, and if we don't address it properly, I think a missed opportunity will be in place in the Middle East, you know.
But when you look at those young people, do you feel that in essence they are, I mean, they are very demanding, but are they idealistic? Do you see a positive spirit?
Yes, I did. I had many opportunities to meet with those young people. Some of them are involved in some civil society organizations. They are brilliant. I think I was surprised, you know, with the maturity of their thought, you know, with their exposure to different ideas, you know. It's completely opposite to our old thinking that we believe that those kids lack maturity, lack understanding. That's not true at all.
So it's a complete paradigm shift. And,
it is a paradigm
and Libya was in some way at, let's say, seismic point of such a paradigm shift.
That's true. I think if we can manage, you know, to have stability and order taken care of quickly in Libya, I think Libya has a chance to produce a model of development unprecedented in the Middle East. You know.
But when you take this paradigm shift, so under your assumption, the change which happened in Libya will practically spread around the world, even in countries which are not characterized by a terrible dictatorship as your country was, but it will spread around and we will have the same situation everywhere in the world.
I think this trend is unstoppable, I think, either in the Middle East or elsewhere, you know. Technology is advancing so fast, I think by 2020, I think technology will take care of itself, you know, where genetic growth will start emerging at that point. And this is a scary thing, you know. But the gap between the human intellect and the technological advancing is widening badly, and this keeps us frustrated, you know. The moment we get a new software, the moment that by the time we get trained it, we get surprised that a new generation of technology is coming, you know. So we don't have the ability to comprehend and connect things together, you know. And this is unprecedented in history, and it's going to cause some problems in the future.
Dr. Jabril, I argued in an editorial that the technological revolution which is taking place is different from what we are used to, because old technology revolution changed the way how we did things. But the new technology, for example, a steam engine, but the new revolution is changing our identity. And I think most people have not yet recognized that we have now an identity changing technological revolution in place. And it's actually not only the internet and digital interaction, but we will have to see a reinforcement of this type of technological revolution with gene technology, stem cell technology, and so on, which will alter ourselves and which will create a completely new dimension in the world. Would you agree?
I agree with that. As a matter of fact, I remember that Mr. Kurzweil, in too many press conferences, warned the world and humanity that we are coming to the conversion of technology by the year 2023. And that would be very scary, where the logic of technology will supersede the human logic, technology will dominate the brain of human beings, and that's a very scary thing. The most devastating implication for those technological advances was the results of those technological advances for those starving continents and countries. My argument is that, Professor Schwab, is that all